What is up, gang? Welcome to the stream. We got Seekers Session 2 coming at you. How are you all doing? It's been at least a week since I've seen you. What's going on?
Great. I definitely did not stay up way too late last night watching a Dota 2 major. And in that hypothetical event that didn't happen, EG definitely did not eliminate every Chinese team from the tournament, and it was definitely not amazing. Because it's a Chinese major. And when that last team got eliminated, it was like morbidly silent in the crowd. Like you did not hear a single sound coming from the
awkward.
That would be awkward.
This is what I came to watch. It was not the Dota 2. It's just to watch an American wipe all the Chinese teams out. Like,
I mean that made the whole tournament worth it, you know?
That's awesome.
Like, there's nothing more like satisfying than watching the team lose and their oil.
You just like to see the pain. You just like to see the pain.
You watch that shit, but if you're actually there, that's even more awkward. Because I went to Katowice once and watched the CS:GO tournament there, and they lost in the final. Like their team lost in the final round. Holy shit, that was awkward. And people got really aggressive, and I was like, "We're gonna leave. We're gonna get some drinks, and we're gonna get the fuck out."
I'm a little bit worried, like what's gonna happen if it's not a Chinese team winning during the international. Because the internationals in China this year, and last year, like it was in, I think it was in Canada. I don't remember where it was. I think it was Canada last year. And it was like even there was a massive Chinese audience, so I'm a little bit worried that it's just gonna be like 99% Chinese audience and like 1% everybody else at this year's.
I thought you were gonna try and tell us that the Canadians rioted after a Canadian team didn't win, and I found that very infeasible.
No, just that like there's a massive Chinese audience for Dota 2, and I imagine it's gonna be like just probably 90%.
I try to imagine what a Canadian riot would look like, where they're just like walking down the sidewalks and staying out of.
I'm rather unhappy with this, but
congratulations. Apologizing.
Congratulations, you earned it.
At least they didn't learn their writing ways from the French that do it right. Right? If you fear a riot, it's a French riot.
Okay. Where you're decapitating the nobility and that kind of thing, or
they're
stab all your friends who don't agree with you.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Dan, you've been absolutely silent. What have you been up to for a week?
I'm
gonna make you talk.
A lot of the same. I'm just not gonna interrupt Sean when he's talking.
No, he'll stab you.
Please do. No, please do interrupt me. I will talk about Dota 2 for the 4-hour stream.
Yeah, no, a lot of the same. Working, going to the gym, playing a lot of Fortnite,
analyzing
Fortnite. Nice.
Penalty calls in championship games.
Yeah, I mean, there's no analysis needed. Like that was pass interference. Like,
that was a bad call.
Yeah, it was pass interference and it was a hit on a defenseless receiver.
Yeah,
he got fined. That's the best part. I feel like if I was everyone else on that team, I would pay his fine. They fined him like $39,000 for the hit. I'm like, man, you were in the Super Bowl because you hit that dude in the face. Like, here's some money. Like, I crowdfund it.
It's real awkward. It's real awkward here because like Cass is a Rams fan, and so I'm like, on the one hand,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm like, on the one hand, I'm glad that they're going, but on the other hand, God, that feels dirty. Like,
alrighty.
Cass agrees too. She's like, no, that was definitely a bad call.
All right. So now that we've caught up and had some good chit chat, you guys ready to jump into game?
All three of the D&D and NFL fans that exist are in this stream already right now.
Once I get into roll 20,
and Dota and
yeah, we're covering our bases.
Yeah.
We're going for the crossovers.
Also, I noticed that only Millman is in the roll 20, so you bad.
I'm working on that right now.
I said I'm almost ready.
All right. So, bookkeeping note. I gave out some experience at the end of last session. You should all have taken home 100 experience at the end of the session.
Yeah, I didn't write it down, but I definitely got it.
I didn't write it down, but I got it. Okay.
Here, let me just add a 1 and a 0 in front of the 0 that's currently
There you go. That is a great way of handling that. So.
I told you I had it.
Last session. You 5 were given an award ceremony by the Guild of the Seekers. Having passed your individual trials, you have now obtained the right to call yourselves Seekers. And in this festival of great feasting and drinking, you were given a pin to show your given a pin to show your status. You were given 100 coins of silver and some advice. You are also told that your entrance to the Seekers is not yet complete, as you have to face one more task and face the magic of the rifts in order to truly call yourselves Seekers. Excuse me. The 5 of you depart after making some new friends in town and ride along the old road heading to the northwest as the city of Willard's Mill has some strange goings on that you have been told are connected in some way to the rifts. Along the path you were surprised by a stampeding herd of aurochs being chased by strange goat-like hybrid creatures nipping at their heels. You slew them with the aid of some ranch hands, despite the destruction of your cart in the process by a mighty Gormak rage, and you managed to herd the injured and scared beasts back to Splittail's ranch, where you learned some more about the magic of the Seekers from the lady of the ranch. She traded you carts and sent you on your way with a nice fresh meal, whereupon you arrived at Willard's Mill. And here have met a crazy person who screams and yells about the coming of the dark beasts, and you have located the horse dog Mercer, the missing merchant that you were set out to find. And so it's here
Who
that
we found out, sorry to interrupt you, is not horse dog, it's horse dog. You didn't find that out until
I
at the end of the
rewatched that,
stream.
and that was too funny.
It's officially
I was like-
canon. He's horse dog. All right.
Yes. His name is Horstog Mercer. And so we find ourselves in Willard's Mill. The 2 of you, Emily Pumpkin and Gormak, are stepping out of this shanty shack at the edge of the cemetery in town, as the rest of the party is finishing up speaking with Horstog Mercer at his emporium. You begin the day basically has halfway come, and you now are in this small town by a riverside. You hear the chopping of the mill as it gushes through the water as the town begins to spring to life in the midday. What are you all up to?
I want to get away as far away as I can from this crazy man. I'm holding.
We all just reconvened, right?
Sure. Yeah, that's
sweet.
easy enough. You reconvene in town square as people bustle about one way or the other, trying to go about whatever daily task it is. You're in the basic merchant square. Gormak and Emily will eventually just walk their way back from the shanty.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As we leave the madman's abandoned shack, I cast sort of one more uneasy glance over the spooky graveyard, and just see if I get any more senses out of it, or if it was just something I imagined. Because Emily told me that there was nothing there, so
you do. You feel an unease and a deep kind of guttural feeling, as if there's nothing quite right in that line of the cemetery. There's something wrong and fearsome there.
Didn't a couple people feel unease when they walked into the town as well?
Yes, you felt the pressure of the air as it squeezed on you momentarily.
Got nothing. I was gonna say.
So how did the meeting go?
I got this, and it's just like, what is it? Like some crazy scribbles out of his arcade text, and I'm like,
he copied the page out of Nostradamus's book.
Yes, slanted writings, strange runes that you've copied down, among some drawings, almost sketches, intermingled amongst the runic text.
Emily, can I see that?
of course you can. Here you go.
I like to try to read it.
Don't lose it.
Sure. What
'cause
languages
I'm
do you
not getting
read?
another.
I only speak Elvish and Sylvan.
Okay, so you recognize the runic text, right? It's not Sylvan, but it is reminiscent to you of Sylvan. This one is slanted and deeply angular in a way that Sylvan is not. It's flowing kind of runic pattern. But the diagrams themselves kind of itch at the back of your brain. They are reminiscent of rituals, even, like very detailed, incomplete in this instance, copied down hastily. But you definitely notice the beginnings potentially of ritual magic in here.
I'm not getting the rest of the book. Nope.
Yeah, I think we need to see the rest of the book to know anything further.
I'll just like point in that general direction. He lives over there. You can go get it, but I ain't going back there.
Anything else interesting come up? We met Horse Dog, and he said he'd just gotten to town yesterday, and he didn't seem to have any knowledge of any of the events that have happened in the past month or so.
Yeah,
He still thinks it's about a month back.
He remembered leaving Sarmanath, and he remembered his trip here.
Mm-hmm.
Then he doesn't remember anything since he's been here.
But he's been missing for a month.
Well, let's consider the possibility that we walked into some sort of weird time bullshit.
I also
It'd be
noticed,
possible that we just went back a month.
I noticed the town crier or someone had directed us to him. It sounds like they knew he'd been here for that whole month too.
Oh, they said he arrived last night.
Oh, they said, that person.
Yeah.
Look
Gormak
down
will,
at my persons where I've been bit, and I'm like, well, we haven't gone back in time. I'm still bit.
Gormak will be like, if it's a month ago, we could go to our feast again.
You're right, my friend.
As you five are standing here talking awkwardly, confusedly amongst yourself, Rose, you notice a small dwarven girl, couldn't be more than 8 or 10 in age, kind of shyly just like starting to walk up to you, and as she gets to you specifically, kind of pulls on your clothes and goes, are you a force spirit?
I look down at her and say, I mean, I'm very much from the forest, but I'm
You're a
flesh
forest
and
spirit.
bones.
Excellent. Oh, Mom says that we have to give sacrifices to spirits of the forest, and I just made this tart, and I want you to have half.
You want me to have this tart?
Yes, spirit of the forest. It's for you.
I pick up the tart. What does it smell like?
It smells of fresh baked cherries, in a like strong kind of wheaty pastry. Definitely freshly baked. You can still feel the warmth kind of radiating from it, but not overly hot. Like in like ready to eat.
So I guess she takes Rose takes this very seriously, right? So she takes both because like giving presents to like the forest or offering some kind of sacrifice is like a important ritual. So she takes it in both hands and she does like a really deep bow, I guess. And she says, "Well, may the spirits of the forest bless you."
She grins from ear to ear and says, "Oh, thank you. I gotta go tell Mom." And she skips off like as happy as can be towards the house.
All right, and I just have this tart in my hand. I'm just like,
Are you a forest spirit?
I mean, I said I'm from the forest. I'm not technically not a spirit. I think
You gonna eat that?
I'm not entirely sure because I think some humans said that there's body and spirit in humans. Like you seem to be both, like a dual kind of system. I'm not sure if that is the same for Spriggans. So I might be at least halfway in a body, maybe.
You should leave it.
This is far too philosophical for so early in the morning.
Afternoon. It is past noon.
You said it's past noon, so.
Yeah.
This is far too philosophical for so late in the day.
Gormak nods and goes, I agree with the preacher.
I'll be right back. I'm sorry.
We killed Sean. He's dead.
Nailed it.
Well done, Faye. Well done.
You can.
Can I can take I can sniff the cherry tart. I take it, and then I'm gonna carefully take a bite out of it.
Absolutely. It is a freshly baked cherry tart. It is, as the name implies, very tart. The cherries obviously very fresh. Still, the juice just kind of runs bubbling down your chin as you bite into it. It's very well made. It is a good tart, homemade, very fresh.
Another child comes running up and sees this like tree person with like red running down their mouth. And just runs screaming.
The tree spirits are attacking! This does not canonically happen. However, it happens in my brain.
Repent! The end is nigh!
the guy's just hurrying back from the house. It's just like, oh.
So, the five of you sit here in the hustle and bustle. You notice that Faye does get, or not Faye, Rose does get a few looks from children, but no one else seems to approach or go about or bother you. They seem to be busily going about their own business.
Well, if we're gonna hang around here, I was going to perform in the evening for the people of the inn. And
Absolutely.
tell one of the tales from the day.
Absolutely.
Down.
What was that, Janlar? What were you saying?
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say I think we should stay around here. I think we should see if the other townspeople are also haven't know what's going on in the last month.
I also want to know what the Wraith of Noon is.
Yeah. Yeah. You could talk around. You're gonna ask somebody. How are you gonna discover that?
Yeah, I guess I would just go up. Are there any buildings in town?
Lots. You're in the middle of a town, man.
Yeah,
You're in like
I
the
guess
town
I don't know.
square.
It's a little. It's Willard's Mill. I'm thinking of a small little town. So like.
Gormac looks up at the sun. It's like noon now, isn't it?
You're past noon. You arrived over the hill just past noon, and as you entered
okay.
town, right, you got this call from one of the farmers that had just returned to the fields. So you're right on time. You just missed the noon race, right? And you've spent some time investigating the graveyard and this crazy person who shouted at you for minutes on end. You've investigated Horsedog Mercer, but you're in the early afternoon, sitting amongst a busy, small town, but a busy town as they go about their daily routines. You see that Horsedog Mercer has a line of people, and he's fetching baubles and trinkets and buying grains and handing out the daily kind of goods, right, that travel from town to town. And here you are sitting not too far away in the middle of town square. Eventually you will notice the crazy person returns to town square and begins harassing other people, yelling about the beast and the cycle, but he's yelled at you enough for today.
This world exists on a calendar system, right? Like people keep track of like months and dates properly.
They do. And we will have to make up names for it as it comes. I have a general idea for how the calendar works, but I haven't sat down and named all the months and days and things in it yet. So, yes.
I guess I'll look at Tom and Janlar and just be like, so, we found Horsedog. Do we just take him back to Sarmanath? What do we do?
I think we need to stay here and determine why he doesn't have his memory. I think our quest more was to determine what was causing the magic, or what the rift magic was causing, than just bring him back.
Okay. If you're rift magic, where do you come from?
The rifts.
Where do we find a rift? Like, he starts looking around like there's going to be some sort of like obvious like tear in reality, spilling magical energy into the town square.
You do not find a tear in reality, spilling globules of magical light everywhere.
I think we're about as lost on that one as you are, Gormac.
They were talking about disappearances, right? Like, our quest was to find this one,
Correct.
this Mercer, but they were talking in plural, right?
They
that
were.
means several people
Correct.
disappeared here.
Well, I think first thing we should do, Janlar was right. We should see if the rest of the town has an accurate sense of time, or if they've all lost about a month, like our horse dog here.
Okay. So how are you going to go about doing that?
I point at a child that's like eyeballing Faye, and I just go, "Ooh, what day is it?"
Oh, it's Saturday.
What month?
The month of harvest.
Is that what day it's supposed to be, or is that a month ago?
That is a month ago.
I look at that kid and I go, I don't think that's right. And I look at the rest of the party and I go,
Well,
I don't want to cause this child to question their worldview.
Don't want to enlighten them.
Don't tell them.
don't worry about our friend here. He's a little bit on the confused side right now. He had a bit too much to drink last night.
All right. So if you are going to just go about questioning randos in town, what I'm going to have you do is, as a group, just roll investigation intelligence. Actually, roll investigation charisma. Woo! Because you're using your charisma skills to get that information. Thank you very much. So, as a group, roll charisma investigation. The DC here is very easy. It's 8. So let's just have more more passes than failures.
What's my charisma? Oh, it's just decent, like all my other stats. Perfect.
Woo! Very nicely done, Tom. You fail to like strike up a conversation that leads anywhere like normal, right?
Nobody
It's like
go around.
God,
Everyone's
here, they
asking
all
me to
try
do
and
like
avoid
basic
the-
ceremonies for them and like bless
Yes.
this wine for their dinner tonight.
Not-
Yeah.
exactly.
And I wind up
Right.
working instead of investigating.
They all think you're trying to spare a minute of their time so you can talk about your Lord and Savior so and so, and they're just like, I'm not. I already have a church, and they just leave.
Yes.
Did a roll investigation, but as charisma, not as intelligence.
Correct, sir.
Okay.
I don't think it would actually change my role.
So you as a group successfully determined that almost everyone in town is quite convinced that this is the first day of harvest.
There are a few outliers. You said almost everyone.
Yes. I said almost everyone. Everyone you speak to in town, you come to a general consensus that they believe it is the first day of harvest.
Okay.
Which, as you know, would be a month past. The harvest has come and gone in Sarmanath.
Well, we've got to find out why this has happened. And I don't want to be here for too long. I don't want to be in the past. Got things
Millman,
to do.
you may need to scoot a little closer to your mic.
I'll just raise my mic volume.
That works.
Aha. So, yeah, I don't want to be stuck in the past. I'm little enough.
Could we get smaller if we're in the past?
No, but we're a month behind in our growing.
Unless you're already done growing, in which case it's more like you're returning to your youth.
I don't want to be little.
You are little.
I have some bad news.
Does it seem like time still passes, or is it still just short past noon?
Time is passing for you. As you look around, you realize that you've been sitting here in the middle of square, just talking amongst yourselves, and then harassing villagers, and you're trying to talk amongst yourselves. And about an hour has gone by. You see the sun tracking overhead. It moves towards later in the day.
This sounds fun.
I have a thought about this.
Emily, what's your intelligence?
0? No, I'm 11.
Okay.
Suppose we were to leave town for the day and come back tomorrow. Do you think Horsedog would forget who we are, go back to how he was at the beginning of this day?
We should swindle more of Ollie's money while we're doing so.
What was that?
We should totally swindle him for all his money if we're doing so.
No. That's not what I'm getting at. I'm just trying to figure out how the rift magic works. Do I need to talk to you here, Emily?
I'm good, thanks. But I like the idea.
Emily. We all have a concept of personal possessions, and other people's possessions are not your possessions.
They can be if we swindle him.
Oh no. I think Tom realizes he's got a harder case, and he
Gormac just goes, I thought it was too late, too early. I thought we weren't doing philosophy.
I felt like this was an easy enough lesson, but this might be a harder case than I thought.
Yeah, I agree with Tom. I think we should wait and come back.
Outside of town?
Yeah, definitely outside of town. Come back.
So it was the party solution was to do nothing for a day.
Look, sometimes you got to investigate.
I guess we could investigate further around town and look for this rift, but
First rule of programming is you break it worse to figure out how it's breaking. And then you can fix it.
So what are you all doing? You've sat around and talked for an hour. You've harassed people about what day it is, and come to a consensus that they believe it's the first day of harvest. What is your plan? What do you do after your hours of deliberation amongst yourselves?
Return tomorrow.
Okay.
I think so. I think it's go out of town and... Did they mention anything about the graveyard when I ran downstairs? Did anything about that come up?
Gormac didn't say anything about it.
Okay.
Emily said it was fine.
I didn't say a thing.
Yeah, I think we just go out of town and we'll
Oh,
come.
that quest talk was
yeah,
well
I
and
still
truly
haven't,
dead.
I haven't actually felt any of the disturbances yet, so I can't.
Okay. You pick up and get your oxen hitched back up to your wagon, and
So Gormac will say, should some of us stay in town and some of us stay out of town and see if time passes differently?
I think we can do that with the people who are already living here. I'm a little bit worried that if we do that, the rest of you will be caught in a time loop, whereas we'll still be free moving. Assuming we can even leave town. This is it's uncharted territory, Gormac. I don't think this is the time to be splitting up.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck in 1 month ago. Sounds like a bad time.
And Tom's gonna go up and talk to the merchant and say we have a quick some business to take care of right outside town. But we'll be back in the near future.
Oh, just outside of town, you say?
Yep.
Secret
We'll be
business.
back. Yes, we'll be back in the near future.
Well, hopefully you come back with riches to spend.
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
All right.
And he goes back to helping somebody else.
Yep.
All right, so you pack up your wagon once again with all of your things. You hitch up your oxen, begin riding directly back out of town, past the town square, past the crazy person who looks at you all as you leave. He goes, "The beast!" And you leave him behind. You make your way past the fields. You see now a full group of men working the fields, just harvesting the late season wheat. And yes, Gormac?
Gormac, as we walk past the guy and he shouts the beast, he's gonna kind of stop after we get a little ways past and turn and look at Emily, and he's gonna go, Emily, if he's there, wouldn't his book be at his house without anyone watching it?
What is?
Emily needs a minute.
There's
Oh,
a
the
ghost!
black-
There's a ghost!
Emily is waving the 1 minute finger
Emily is
at
waving
you.
the 1 minute. Emily got mommed.
Quite literally.
Mom, I'm playing D&D with my friend. Roll D20 now. Go away.
All right. So you asked me something.
Yeah, I pointed out. So as we were like packing up to leave town, the crazy guy's standing on his street corner shouting about the beast, And Gormak looks at you and goes, "Or Emily, do you remember our conversation about possessions a moment ago?
Yes.
Well, if he's there, wouldn't his book be at his house without him?"
Well, yes. Do you want to go and get the book? I don't want to go there while he's there, though. He's weird.
No, that's why I was saying now while he's here. Maybe Tom or Janlar could make something out of the pages.
All right. Well, let's go. Real quick, though. Don't let him see us go that way.
Yeah, I think someone should stay and maybe go talk to him, keep him occupied.
Gormak
So I'm not-
knows.
I'm not sure how we want to handle this. If there's something I know as a player, but something I don't know as a character, should I still mention it to the party or not?
Go for it. So here's just table rules, I guess. I don't care if you talk about out of character knowledge amongst yourselves as players. Ultimately, we're playing a game, right? Together, right? If your character isn't present, right? Or your character is unable of helping, right? Then I would say anything done in character at that time is probably not okay, right? If Janlar's by himself doing some ritual and you as a group talk it out and think of something for Janlar to do, totally cool. If Janlar's alone by himself doing something and Rose casts a spell, that wouldn't be as cool. Yeah?
Yeah, no, I'm just like, for example, if you give us info, like if you describe something to us, right, with this information we all know,
Yeah.
but people forget, and then next session it comes up,
Go
right?
for it. Yeah.
Okay, so because I'm just going to mention that the book was in a chest, and the chest was opened personally by that crazy guy, like with some kind of ritual. I think he used like blood or something, drip on that chest where the book was in. So if you're getting the chest, you probably won't be able to open it without him,
I mean,
unless you know how to crack it. It's just a comment. I'm just saying, in case you want to go.
what was the chest?
Worth
made of?
consideration.
You saw him open the floorboards.
Right.
And underneath there's a large black stone chest. Like a perfect cube.
Oh, that's right.
And he, as he scraped his fingernail across his palm, he got blood, squeezed it on the chest, and the top rippled and slid back, revealing the book inside.
That's
Oh,
right.
we're taking the whole box. We're not even getting the book out.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that the chest was in a book. It wasn't just hidden under the floorboard. But at the same time, Gormak is really strong. I might be able to break it.
All right. So you've stopped here in the middle of the wheat field and have this discussion. Are you going after the chest? What do you do?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I can't wait to become a stronger bard and be able to get ox strength, and I'll do it myself.
I can't wait
called
till you have
Gormak
enlarged
string.
reduced, so you don't have to be so little
So
anymore.
the whole group is gonna about face and go to the little shanty at the edge of the graveyard.
I think maybe
we
in a
all going?
roundabout way, so we don't walk past the crazy guy again. That way he thinks we're out of town.
I think Tom's gonna protest here and say, "Why are we stealing this man's book?"
Because there's a ritual in it, and he doesn't need the book.
important. He said,
Why do we know he doesn't need the book? It's his
He's
book.
crazy.
Crazy people can own things too.
But I don't like him.
"True, but I don't think
I
he
like
knows
him.
magic."
He was endearing.
Now I'm starting to think you're a cleric of the Baptist Church. We're a bit concerned about you.
The feeling is mutual here, Emily. You have a bit of a kleptomaniac streak going on here.
I haven't
said-
stolen a thing.
He said the book had the ritual to stop the whatever's going on.
But we don't even know
The
what the book is.
beast! I
We're
say
supposed
really
to
loud.
find out what's going on. So
Sure, but
maybe
we don't even know what this beast is. It might just be the ramblings of a madman.
Well, we're not going to know if we don't look at the book, right?
We shouldn't be just swinging our seeker authority around and uprooting people's lives on any possible suspicion of rift magic.
Are we even seekers yet? It's a month ago.
But we're from a month in the future, so I'd say it counts personally. I guess other people look, no philosophy right now. Stay pragmatic.
But But nobody will know we took the book, so technically did Seekers do it?
We'll know we took the book.
I just sigh. I'm like, ah. Wait here, we'll be back soon. Come on, go back. Let's go.
And so it is that the rest of the party once again doesn't see the graveyard because only Emily and Gormac go by the house.
I would go with him this time.
Oh.
Okay. So
I'm not going. I think in my little etiquette book it says that stealing things is considered quite rude and it's usually breaking the law, so you should refrain from it. Humans don't like it.
I agree, but I want the book.
Gormac will be like,
My character's a good guy, but I'm a terrible person.
Yeah,
That's
no.
okay.
You two see if the crazy man knows how much time has passed. We'll go check the book and see if it's keepable.
all right. So Janlar, Emily Pumpkin, and Gormac, you leave Tom and Rose sitting in a field of wheat with the oxen and attempt to sneak through to the graveyard. So that you can go to the man's shanty. You want to avoid walking past the crazy screamer of doom and gloom.
right, because if he sees us walking back towards his house, he might put 2 and 2 together.
Absolutely.
He may end up getting an answer other than 4 in the process, but
I have a thought actually, because somebody mentioned it. Tom's gonna ask Rose to watch the cart really fast. And he's gonna walk off to go talk to Crazy Guy really fast.
Okay, so Tom, you begin walking over to the town square. Rose, you are left here with the oxen in the field of wheat. You see people working around you.
This is super awkward. I'm like sitting there by myself. I still have like half of the cherry tart in my hands. I'm like looking around, you know?
You like turn to the most socially awkward person in the group, just say like, hey, stand here around all these people and don't do anything.
Yeah.
Exactly, and try not to be, too suspicious. Try to fit in, and you're just like, oh no, and then you get more nervous. You stand out even more. She's like, oh no.
Rose just plants her roots in the ground and turns into a normal tree.
So you stand there awkward, just looking at people working in the field, and people in the field start looking at you, and there's a stare off for a few minutes.
I make slightly uncomfortable noises as I'm standing there.
As Rose is uncomfortable staring at other humans, Janlar, Emily, and Gormac, you begin the process of trying to sneak past this crazy person in the crowd, and you get a boon as Tom begins striding forward to talk with him. I want all of you to roll for me hide checks to attempt to move past him stealth.
Can we not just circle around town and like leave and then just circle the long way around town so we don't have to go past him again?
So you want to go around the wheat fields, by the edge of the forest, or by the stream, the river, and around back to the graveyard.
I mean, I feel like if we're trying to sneak past him, that makes the most sense.
Absolutely. That is the path you take. Everyone please take stealth checks at advantage.
Okay. -1.
Advantage though, so you get that reroll.
Okay. That's too bad. I'm a little disappointed. All right, still not great. But
All right.
Better than 0.
All right, so you begin making your way around this town, sneaking past the wheat fields along the edge of the river. You hear the chopping of the windmill trying to cover your steps. And Tom, as they're sneaking around, you walk up and begin to try to engage with this person. He's currently in the middle of telling somebody about the beast. He has cornered a woman with a bread basket on the way to a merchant and is yelling, "You're the beast! There must
Her eyes
be!"
like screaming, help me, get me out of here.
Yes,
okay,
they are.
I like
Yes.
tap him on the shoulder. I'm like, I have a quick question for you really fast about the beast.
He wishes to know of the beast! Yes! Yes, what do you wish to know of the end of our worlds?
Well, do you know what day it is?
Yes.
What's the date? On the calendar, not your weird shit, like the calendar date.
I don't know. What's a calendar? I don't know what a calendar is. It is 30 days past the harvest! That's news for everyone, but we must break it! Must slay the beast! Give me his eyes!
30 days. You're the first person all day to have gotten it right.
I know! I can see! I have the book!
How did you get to notice it? Why do you know but nobody else?
Because I am me! I know I am the seer! This is why I need the eyes of the beast, and then I can banish it! Have you heard of the Circle of Life?
What did he just say?
The Circle of Life?
Yes. It is non-stop!
I thought he said the circle of blood.
It never ends! These fools are in it! We must free them! Give me the eyes! Give me the eyes!
We'll do that. We're going to leave town for the day and experiment with the properties of this beast a little bit, but we'll be back soon.
Be careful. The beast
Of course.
hunts. Bring me his eyes! And then he starts wandering off to other people, screaming about the cycle. So, Cormac and Janlar and Emily, you arrive at this shanty by the graveyard. It is much quieter by the graveyard, and
Down there?
I'm sorry?
It's much quieter at the graveyard without the screaming.
Without the
down there?
screaming, but you're also far enough away from the river, it kind of fades to the background as you pass
okay.
these standing cemeteries, and you arrive at the shanty, so hopefully undetected.
Is it locked?
No. You try the door, you fly into it, it just kind of slides open with no resistance whatsoever.
And I just like fly over the point where the book was, and I'm like, I need you to pull up the boards.
Okay.
I pull up the board. I saw the guy do it.
Mm-hmm. You fish around for a moment and hook into a floorboard that you've seen removed before. You pull them open, they come up in a nice little box of 4, and sitting in a little pit underneath the floorboards is a black stone box in a perfect cube.
I'm not touching it. I feel like that's a bad time.
Can I cast Detect Magic as a ritual?
Sure. It takes you 10 minutes to cast it as a ritual. So you begin, preparing your mind and your body. What do you do to perform this ritual?
Well, I don't want to touch the book, so I guess I would just
As Emily doesn't touch the cube and Janlar doesn't touch the cube, after Gormak has pulled the thing up, and Gormak's like, well, it's right here, and he picks it up and he holds it.
All right, you bend down to grab it in one hand and find it to be immeasurably heavy. You cannot pick it up with one hand. You bend down to get it with 2 hands. Please give me a strength check.
Okay. Athletics or just pure strength?
Athletics, if you are trained in it, will help you. Sure.
Okay. Yikes.
You find the box to be too heavy to lift on its own.
I'll kind of pull for a while and then just be like, well, it's that's the box.
I'll be like, 1 second, and I pull my little rapier and just prick his finger because it's like this big compared to his finger. Like it's like 2.5 inches, and I just prick his finger and let it drip on the box.
Did he apply blood before he took the box out, or did he take the
He
box?
never took the box out. He just pricked his blood on top of it.
Okay.
So yeah, I prick your finger because obviously it won't even bother you, and then drop a blood on it.
You give him a little prick, and sure enough, blood forms on your hand, Gormak. You let it splash on this box, and sure enough, the same wavy appearance of the top of the box begins again, and you hear a grating as it slides back, revealing this cloth-bound square in the box.
Okay.
Grab the book. Let's go. I don't want to be.
I reach in and I pick up the book, if I can. I'm assuming it doesn't close around my hand or anything like that.
You reach in, you grab the cloth-bound book, you take the cloth away from it, and see indeed this red leather-bound book once
All right,
again.
and I hand it to Janlar. I'm like, there you go.
I think I was detecting detect magic still, so I think maybe my eyes would be closed and I'm kind of in a trance, just kind of.
He's like doing somatic components, and all of a sudden I just stick a book in his hands, and he's like,
After 10 careful minutes of trancing and incantation, your eyes open and you detect indeed magic pouring forth not only from the book that is now in your hands, but also from this now open black box. You find that the box is a transmutation magic. As you focus on it, you see the waves of transmutation around it. And the book itself has a strange magic to it. It has a magic that seems to pulsate between different schools. All at once. You as soon as you see one, you see alteration, you see illusion, you see transmutation, and as soon as you get a feel for it, it shifts and another school kind of comes to mind as you look upon it.
Very interesting, very interesting. I looked at Emily and said, "You definitely want this book. I've never seen anything like it. It has multiple different schools of magic."
That's all well and good, but I want to get out of this house before he comes home. He's very loud.
Yeah, we definitely want to leave now, for sure. When I casted Detect Magic, was I close enough to the graveyard that I detected any magic?
Well, you're inside the building. Do you want to pop your head out and take a look?
Yeah, I do. While I have it cast.
Absolutely. You pop your head out and you take a look, and you see in the graveyard, in the center of it, there's along one specific row, there is a massive kind of black shroud of magic, and it seems to coalesce and form around a vaguely bestial shape. As it looks upon, as you look upon it, you see what could be its head begin to raise, and red, raging eyes appear from it, and it begins advancing towards you.
So as he's doing that, like walks out, Gormak gets a little like piece of like paper or something, and just puts it in the box as Janlar's walking out of the room, and this is what it says.
Can you re-describe the wraith apparition that's about to kill Janlar?
He sees it as a swirling black mist. His eyes see it because of the detect magic spell. It's radiating a necrotic aura of swirling magic. Its eyes look at you. The red beacons are also seen through your magical sense, and you see it begin to approach towards you.
Yeah, I'd like to step behind Gormak and say, "Hey guys, I think I see the beast."
You duck back into the grave.
Toward the graveyard.
Okay.
I look at Gormak and I'm like,
I try to put Gormak between me and the beast because I don't think he can see him. So I'm just gonna like.
All right. You duck back into the shack, losing sight of this swirling apparition of magic, and hide behind Gormak.
I tell them what I see.
Gormak is like, did the box reseal itself, or did you have to blood it again?
The box still remains open.
Now, when he closed it last time,
you did not see him close the box.
I didn't close it again. Okay, well, I guess I just put the.
You walked out and left before any of that closing or sealing.
Yeah,
happened.
I put the little note in there just so for him, and then I just kind of like, I guess I just put the floorboard back over it. as Janlar comes in and hides behind me. Do you look scared, Janlar?
Yeah, I give the book to Emily and say,
I'm not touching it. I don't want crazy. I'm good.
That book probably weighs more than Emily does.
You're right.
It does. It actually does weigh more than I do.
I pin Emily to the ground by putting the book on her.
I tell Gormak I can't carry this with all the rest of my gear and ask him to hold it for me.
Gormak looks like quizzitively at you, as you've probably got like a spell book and several other books that you carry as is, and just goes, "All right, if you say so," and just kind of sticks it in one of the various harnesses that he's got.
I like to imagine you have leather belts like around your armor. You just
I imagine Gormak's got a bunch like a one of those like harnesses, like the carrying harnesses that they do for like backpacking and stuff. Just the mesh, just with all the like pockets and clips and stuff. And because he carries all of Emily's stuff too. So
even though it fits in one pouch on your belt.
Yeah.
And then, can I peek out the window to see if the apparition is still coming? Or just...
Yeah, Gormak will see you doing this.
As you look for a window, you realize there is no window into this shanty. There's only the
Gormak
door.
will be like, "Why are you acting weird?"
I saw it in shape outside in the graveyard.
Oh, I don't like the graveyard. It seems off. Emily said it was fine though, and she knows magic.
No,
I didn't see anything.
I detected magic upon it and saw a black apparition with 2 red glowing eyes.
Oh,
Sounds a lot like the beast that we're...
Hey, we need to get his eyes, Gormak. That's how we
Great
get rid of the crazy man.
Gormak goes,
shouldn't we get Tom? Aren't clerics good at graveyard stuff?
It was approaching this way, so I came and hid behind you guys.
Oh, very brave.
I'm well known for it.
Brando.
I think I'll lead out the door and see if I can see anything there.
As you fly out the door and look around, you see the graveyard. Idyllic.
yeah,
and
Gormak
normal.
sticks his head out the door and looks too.
Gormak, you stick your head out the door, axe in hand, ready to strike, and you see an empty graveyard, kind of a quiet edge of town. You see the rest of town a few bits off.
And I'm like flying next to Gormak's head, and I stare, and I'm like, "You better wash your hands. You'll catch crazy too."
I look at my hands. I go,
Is it? Why?
Because he touched the book, and he's crazy. So now, Janlar's touched the book, and now he's crazy. You need to wash your hands.
I look around. Is there water anywhere? I know there's
You
a river
are-
kind of nearby.
There's a river kind of nearby. You're kind of on the opposite side of town from the water running. Yeah, you could make your way through town to the river.
Okay. In that case, I will. I'll just kind of be like,
Come on, Chandler. I'm supposed to. Emily says I have to go wash my hands before I catch crazy.
I said, that's a good idea. Let's definitely get out of here. There's a river outside of town. Right?
So the graveyard is opposite of the mill, but you can make your way back through town towards where a river runs by and the water mill churns.
I want to get as far away from this graveyard as possible.
Okay, as Gormak and Emily leave the shanty and don't, it's a normal ass town. They're next to a graveyard. That's a little bit unsettling. But as you leave, you look about with your detect magic still being concentrated on and alive in your eyes. As you look back to the graveyard, you see this apparition at the exact place that it was when you last laid eyes on it. And now as you look at it again, it begins to shift and move. Its ghostly magics are beginning to once again move towards you.
Yeah, I run as fast as I can in the opposite direction.
Janlar, you sprint away into town
They don't want to
as
run
fast
with me.
as
They
you
don't have
can.
to. I'll just
Second-
run with Tom.
Second session, already splitting the party. We're doing
Yeah.
great.
Gormak's
great.
like walking with his axe because he hasn't thought to put it away yet, and Janlar just like Scooby-Doo runs past him. Just
Yeah,
Yep.
just full speed. Like,
Okay.
I turn to Gormak, and I'm like, "You might want to put that book somewhere not where people can see it, especially the crazy guy."
I wrap it in a blanket. I think I have a blanket. Don't I have a blanket? No, I just stick it in my backpack. I have
Alright.
a bedroll.
Uh,
Don't put it in your bedroll. You gotta sleep there. You don't want to extra catch crazy.
Oh yeah, you're right. I put it in my mess kit. That's tin. It'll block the,
The crazy. You're smart. You're
Yeah.
smart.
Exactly.
All right, and with that, Janlar sprints past you. You make your way back into town. Janlar, as you lose sight of the graveyard, you lose sight of the black necrotic magic radiating out away from whatever it was. And you arrive back in the middle of Willard's Mill. Tom, you are kind of milling about this market square, and you see Janlar come full sprint into town square, followed a few moments later by Gormak with axe in hand and Emily
I probably
flying.
had to put the axe away in order to put the book in the backpack. So.
Okay. Well, you and then followed briefly by Emily and Gormac.
Mm-hmm. What's going on? You look a little bit concerned.
I have to go wash the crazy off my hands.
Yes, he does.
Are you still on about that, Emily? Look, I don't think this man's as crazy as you all think he is. He's the only one out of everyone here who knows what day is.
I point at the little dust trail that Janlar left as he went running through, and I go,
No, Janlar caught the crazy too when he touched the book, and I touched the book, so I have to go wash my hands.
Janlar, what did you see?
I think it's a Fey thing.
The beast.
Oh?
Told you crazy now too. Let's go wash your hands.
Hold on now, hold on. I talked to the man while you guys were shamelessly looting his house.
It's not a house, it's a shanty.
It's one very specific item.
Whatever. Look, he knows what day it is. He got the date right. He's the only one out of everyone in this town to know what day it is.
But he's crazy in general. He could just be...
Maybe. So what if he's crazy? He might be a valuable asset here. We probably shouldn't be spurning him like we currently are.
I lean closer to Gormat. I think he got the
Don't
crazy.
worry, Tom. I left a note. It said, "Sorry, needed book. Will return."
Oh. Well, that's okay then.
If we need to get on his good side, we can just find a way to steal the book back for him.
I think that's just not returning it. We don't have to steal it again. We already have it.
But he doesn't know that.
It's called reverse pickpocketing. I'm familiar. The lamplighters used to do it when they needed to frame someone.
Yeah. That makes sense.
You don't do that! Cormac, no!
No,
You too!
You just take something that you shouldn't have, and you put it on
No.
And then
No.
they get arrested, and they have it on them.
Cormac, you stop your plan at step one. With the take something that you shouldn't have. You just stop there. You shouldn't have it. Don't take it.
No. I don't take it. They have something that you shouldn't have. They take that and then they put it on someone, and then they get that person searched, and then that person gets arrested because they now have something they're not supposed to have.
When did I become the ethics professor for this group?
So as this discussion is going on, right?
I'm not saying it's right.
Yes, Rose. You've been sitting with this cart for a number of long
So there's
minutes.
you just see the fields, right? And you see the farmers working, and there's some crickets chirping around, baby. And then you see Rose like gently patting the ox, and she looks at it and she's like, "You think they forgot about me?"
The oxen kind of
They wouldn't-
rolls its eyes up to you and goes,
They wouldn't leave me behind, would they? Just looking around. So if somebody tells you to stay, do you stay? I don't know either. So I'm just standing there waiting. I'm not leaving. I'm just like...
Eventually, one of the farmers will approach you, Rose, and be like, "You know, it's not often we see people just loitering in the middle of the road. Can I help you with anything? You seem to be quite disturbed."
I'm supposed to wait here for my friends?
Oh.
Yes.
Well,
I have to guard this cart. It's very important.
That's true. We're a fairly honest folk here in Willard's Mill. Honestly, you might be more comfortable at the tavern. Betsy has a nice little tavern. There's a room there. There's stables nearby. We could put the oxen up, get them out of the bindings. You know, put everything away. You could rest there, have a pint. You maybe talk with some of the wives or children about town.
So this is a conundrum, right? Because obviously this person is trying to be nice. And I kind of don't want to anger them in a way, but I was also told to stay here. So Rose is like, oh. You know, it's kind of rude if you're like, oh no, it's fine, you know, just so she's like,
he sees you making these very uncomfortable faces and noises, and he doesn't know how to respond to this, and so he also begins making uncomfortable noises.
Another farmer approaches to try and help. By the time we all get back to Rose, there's just a crowd of people standing around.
just all around.
And they're all trying to help Rose feel a little less awkward, but the crowd gets bigger and Rose feels even more awkward every single time somebody new shows up.
So but if I leave for the tavern, who tells my friends that I left?
I can keep a lookout for him. I've seen you come and go here twice. It's not often we get people who come and visit the town for an hour and leave.
That is very kind of you. Take this as a thank you, and I give him half of my eaten cherry.
he holds it in his hand and nods and is like, yes, absolutely. I will. I will.
I do a little bow, and then I guess I lead the oxen to the tavern.
You turn the cart around and you begin leading the cart back to the tavern.
All I know is we were supposed to leave, and suddenly everybody turned around, and I'm like, sometimes it takes a while to like catch up to things, so you know.
So as you leave and are leaving this man behind, you hear him just kind of scratching his head and muttering to himself, like, oh, I wonder if that was a tree spirit.
He's gonna put the town on his shelf and keep it there until the end of day.
And so you four sitting here talking about the ethics of reverse pickpocketing and the book. See Rose with the cart riding back into town.
And back will just see that and be like, oh good, we're all back together again.
No, I don't think there's a magical force keeping us in this town. I think it's just our own incompetence and poor communication. Maybe let's get out of here before the sun sets.
I agree. Let's get out of here. I want to get as far away from this town as possible.
All right, and Tom will go catch Rose and be like, Rose, we need to turn the cart around again.
No, I gotta go to the tavern.
Why do you need to go to the tavern?
Because the man said I should go to the tavern and have a pint. So I'm going to the tavern.
We can go to the tavern tomorrow, which will probably be today again. Look, we'll have plenty of opportunities to go to the tavern.
But you just left. So I said yes. Like when he asked, you know.
I'm sorry, that took longer than I expected it to. I thought I'd be in and out. But Gormac came back and he started telling me about reverse pickpocketing, and
I still
things
have
got really messy.
crazy off my hands.
Yes, we need water. Maybe holy water. You can help us with that, Tom. We need holy water.
There's no crazy to catch. That's not how crazy works, Emily. You're crazy.
I still point at the dust
No,
trail that Janlar
I'm
left as he
fairy.
went sprinting past.
It's still hanging in the air, like Wile E. Coyote style.
Look,
And I'm still like, oh right.
look, just start going. Just take the cart out of town. I'll go find Janlar and catch up with the rest of you.
No. Listen, no. I'm not going to take the cart back, and we're splitting up again. You can find Chandler. I'm not leaving without anybody. If you go looking for him, I'm going to the tavern.
Janlar didn't run far away from you guys, because in case the beast came following him, so
Oh,
he comes from outside. So,
Ran further past us, but we're
I
still
know,
like
but suddenly I'm all by myself again. That's not going to happen.
so, yeah, I agree with Tom. We should leave. And then,
Ugh.
I turn to you, Rose, and I'm like, I'm not gonna leave you because I don't want to be here either.
That's
Oh
good.
my God. Look, let's just go. Janlar will catch up. He'll figure it out. Actually,
You
he's
just
smart.
see him in the shot. It's like us standing in the middle of town, right? And we're in the marketplace, and you just see him in the background the whole time, hiding behind like a person. Just
Yeah.
somebody's street, and he's hiding behind them. Clearly there.
Like a bush or something. Yeah.
Oh, it's like the Divinity Original Sin thing where they just like put a bush over themselves and you
Yeah.
see like their feet out from the bottom as they crawl around.
All right. So you've decided to finally get the party back together, and you are leaving town back
finally.
out the way you came. For good.
Finally.
All right.
Well, for the day. Not for good.
All right.
As far as we know, just for the night, and we're gonna come back tomorrow.
Okay, so you pick up, finally convince Rose that you're leaving, and everyone goes back the way you came. You see a very confused group of farmers, like, stop work, like, put their hose in the ground, and just, like, scratch their heads as you come trailing past them for the third time in the day.
And I wave. I'm like, hi.
And
I just mouth that I'm so sorry as we walk past with like my head slightly tilted.
you whisper that at the same person you gave the tart to, and he's like, "My dear, if you need help, just let us know. We can help you. we'll get you out of these people's.
We have this mental institution. It's really good." Nice.
And you leave Milltown. And you go out into the afternoon. Where do you go when you leave town?
How far was the Sylvan Rune protection cliff?
Like half a day away. Like if you were to go, you went from the refuge to here and arrived after noon, right? So to go back there now, you'd end up being caught in the middle of the night before you got there.
Okay.
I say we keep heading up till about, say, 7, 8 p.m. So we're a good time away. And then we'll make camp.
Okay, you just travel over the hills and back across the road.
Well, I was gonna suggest maybe like a mile or so, because we don't want to go too far out. Because if we go too far out, then we're gonna be traveling for like a good chunk of the day tomorrow. So just like
Right, we want
a mile or two.
Do we want to try and get back to town before noon tomorrow? So
I
we
don't think
see
so.
This noon
Yes.
race incident.
Yeah. Well, the noon wraith isn't gonna show up because it's been the same day for a month apparently.
Well, but maybe the noon wraiths show up every day at noon.
I think they do. That's
Yeah.
what I'm like.
That could be it. Yeah. So we could try show up tomorrow morning.
Right, or unless every time we get to town it's just afternoon. But only one way to find that out, and that's
Yeah,
to
and
get there
I
before
know
noon.
where like that weird feeling started too, so we can go maybe like a mile past that point that we hit earlier today when we walked into town.
What weird feeling?
When we came into town, Rose and I had that bizarre feeling. We told the party about it. Like there was that weird oppressive feeling when we first walked into town.
Yeah, the rest of us didn't notice it or didn't
Alright.
feel it.
So
Also-
we'll like hit that point, then go maybe like a mile, camp out, and then just go straight into town once dawn hits.
Genlar, have you described any of the events that you witnessed at the graveyard yet?
Yeah, I did. I don't know if Tom heard me when I tried to describe him at first, but when I
The
first
beast, right?
ran by him, I said that they were a black wisp and it looked like a beast with red eyes.
It could be that there's something in the graveyard.
I'll say I thought the graveyard felt funny too.
I can take a look at it tomorrow, which will probably be today. But for now, let's finish getting out of town and get some rest.
Are there any houses or huts or anything like on the road out here, or probably all the people that live
The
around
people
here
who live
out?
near Willard's Mill live in Willard's Mill.
Yeah.
It is generally considered to be, just as a general rule of thumb in this world, it is generally considered safer to live with a group of people over living by yourself. Being out and about in the middle of night is dangerous. There's a lot of magic out and about. There's a lot of creatures and things on the open road in forests and mountains. People band together generally. Hermits exist. They're rare, right? They're kind of oddities. So no, as you travel outside of the mill, you know that 7 or 8 miles down the road or so, there's another town that you passed on the way through here. But you didn't see any huts or small houses just on the outside of Willard's Mill.
Well, that's good. We don't have to share any dinner.
All right. So you go a mile outside of town. How much? 2 miles you said outside of town?
Like a mile past the point where we hit that magical like.
You go a mile outside
barrier.
of town. It doesn't take you that long to travel a mile. You've reached probably the end of the afternoon, right? You begin unhitching the oxen. You let them graze some. You begin setting up your place that you're going to stay for the night. What do you do with the rest of the hours in your day?
If we tried to push on to the other town, we wouldn't get there until like midnight or something like that, right?
8 miles. You would get there. You'd get there in the evening. It would probably be full dark as you were arriving.
Should we try and push on to that town and see what day they say it is, just in case we actually got time shifted?
Could be a good idea. How many hours would that take?
You know, walking at like 3 or 4 miles an hour would only take a couple of hours.
You're gonna have to make me look up overland travel speed. Give me just a moment.
I mean, really, if we leave at dawn tomorrow, that's fine. We just need to make sure we make it back like early-ish in the morning to
Right.
We don't need to arrive like right at dawn.
Don't want to miss lunchtime.
All right, so you
Gormak's
can,
like, who's lunch?
at a normal pace, you can travel 3 miles an hour. So you're about 5 miles away from the city you passed on the way into Willard's Mill. You can get there in a little bit more than an hour.
Yeah, we'll just go there.
Okay. You pack on and rehitch the wagons and go another 5 or so miles down to the roads. You come to a crossing point at the old road. The old road continues on to the east over to Hawks Hollow. And you travel south a little bit and come up to just another small town very similar to Willard's Mill. This one is tucked in between a bunch of hills in a valley between some taller hills. Sparse wooded areas kind of come around this. It seems to be a town more based around commerce than anything else. It is just along the roads. People have come together here. There are no large fields of wheat here. It is merely a little kind of trading place. There you smell the fires of a foundry. You smell the sulfur and hear the clanging and clacking of metal as you arrive. The town is probably half the size of Willard's Mill, much smaller, and less busy. There's not people bustling in and out and about. They seem to be indoors for the most part, which is a small trek of humans and hobbits and dwarves speckling the streets as you arrive.
Okay, so we're gonna ride in. Tom is gonna walk up to someone at some point and say, "Excuse me, do you know the date by chance?"
Yes, I do indeed. It would be the 3rd day of the fallow.
Of the what?
Of the fallow. You know, when fields lay fallow after they have been harvested.
Yeah. No, I just misheard you. Thank you.
Indeed. It might be my accent.
Maybe a little. There's so many accents in this world. Some are easy, some are hard.
I know,
you know.
right? It's like the creator of It's a Crazy Person. Anyway, what can I do for you? We don't normally get a lot of people in these parts.
Do you know where an inn is that we could set up at?
Indeed. Hilltopple. Just in the center of town. We often have travelers coming through on the way to Hux Hollow, on the way to Sarmanath.
Have you seen anyone from Willard's Mill recently?
Can't say I have. Which is odd. You're right next door. You normally would get visitors. Haven't seen them for a month or more, maybe. I don't know. Not since the harvest.
Right. Interesting. Well, thank you for the information.
Absolutely. Could I interest you in horseshoes, by the way?
Not at the moment, Tom says, looking back like the ox.
Did he say horseshoes or horse shit?
Horseshoes.
Oh, okay.
Shoes. You, sir, I could shoe you. Look at you. I bet those hooves hurt every day. A little metal could go a long way.
I look down.
You know, Gormak, if you got horseshoes, you probably have a powerful kick.
He has a
already.
powerful kick. A very
Oh,
I mean, an
Wow.
even more powerful kick, like a metal powerful kick.
Like brass knuckles for my feet.
Yeah. Get little like spikes on the bottom, make them cleats.
Yeah.
You could also tap dance better.
You know, Gormak, it might not be a bad idea.
I don't think I'm comfortable with that.
All right. Just trying to make a living. Okay. Well, if any of you need horseshoes, you know who to come.
I'll keep it in mind. I'll see if I can persuade my friend here.
Excellent.
I look at you. I'm like, you know, they nail those things on, right? You wouldn't want him nailing your feet,
Well, I mean, it's for protection, though, ultimately.
right? But I don't want nails in my feet.
I mean, what if those nails stop you from getting something worse in your feet?
What's worse than getting a nail in your foot?
I don't know. Whatever people started horseshoeing horses for.
Couple of nails in your feet is worse than a nail in
true.
your feet.
Or just like your feet becoming, I don't know, worn out and infected and amputated.
I just look at you. I'm like,
I'm not diabetic.
Look, I don't have an animal handling proficiency. I don't know the first thing about horses.
All right, y'all. You've dicked around a lot today. You've arrived in the nameless town of Hobbiton, right? that is nearby.
We set up at the
Willard's
tavern.
Mill.
We
What do
take
you
on
do?
our very serious faces and we go to bed.
All right. Excellent.
If we're setting up in the tavern, I want to read one of my poems and things and see if I can busk a little bit for money while we're here.
Oh, absolutely. So you begin setting up in the tavern and begin like putting out an instrument, and suddenly everyone looks around like, "Oi, my little one's a bard." And they
I'm
look
not
ar-
little. I
Oi,
have the angriest look on my face.
you're-
I'm normal sized.
I mean, you look pretty little to me. I can put you in my hand. Anyway, hold your horses. We got a living bard, a real bard. You set up. I'm gonna tell the rest of town. And he just rushes off and begins. You can hear him banging on doors. We've got a bard in the inn. We got a bard in the hilltopper. Bard in the hilltopper. Everyone, bard. And sure enough, people begin filling into the hilltopper, and they're just excited that this fairy turns out to be a bard. You begin getting pestered with questions as you open up. You're like, "Hey, do you have any news? Where are you from? Where are you hailing from? Please, can I give you a letter to send?" Right? And everyone, the children become showing up, and they begin requesting songs. Like, "Oh, do you know Miss Poppins?" Right? Like, this is an event in town, and everyone's just excited as hell to have a bard as you begin setting up.
Note to self: don't play in small towns. But I'll lean forward to Gormak. Just don't let them try to steal me, okay? They've already pointed out I'm little, and we already had a crazy guy incident today.
I nod.
I'll set it up. Like obviously I'll play the harp for a little bit while I'm like fine tuning and getting the acoustics of the room. The particular poem is from the first one I wrote on this yesterday in game. She starts with, "Let me tell you a tale of a fine spriggan. While the beast stampeded, she did not falter in the beginning. She raised her shillelagh and brought it down on the ugly foe, quick to dispatch it though. Coming out with merely a scratch, none of her foes survived, being quickly dispatched." And she stops, and she's just like, "Buddy," like to end it.
With the bring, the whole tavern goes, "Oh."
Do you want a performance check?
I would love a performance check after you have performed your night's work.
A regular roll?
Yes, please. You can roll performance charisma. You have sung your songs and told your tales. The audience is rapt, and please show me what you do here.
Come on, high roll.
An
Yeah, boy!
18. Please multiply that by 10. That is the number of silver coins that they have patroned you with. There was originally copper and bits of like goods that they were offering you, but the patron of the hill topple comes by and begins exchanging silver coins for each of them, and they give you the 180 silver coins for your performance. The patron kind of claps you on the back a little too hard. Like, he's obviously trying not to do that, but it's so hard to clap a fairy on the back. He says, it's a long time since we've had a proper bard come through. These people love to hear the stories. It raises the spirits of the children. Would you mind bringing some letters with you? If you're visiting Hawks Hollow, there's a number of family members back that way that we would love to have the village have the chance to speak with. We don't often make the treks ourselves. Dangerous on the roads these days.
We're not heading that way.
You
We're
found
heading-
Hawks Hollow. Any letters came out this way?
We didn't come from that way either. We're going out from Sarmanath, and we're going back.
Oh, indeed. Well, I don't believe I know anyone in Sarmanath. Do you mind if I put the word out along town? Maybe they have some letters to send back.
We'll be leaving at dawn, no later.
Okay then. Well, I will do my best then.
I just turn and I look at the sack of coins, and I look at the group, and I'm like, well, I can't pick them up. They weigh more than me.
Okay. Gormak, don't you hold on to Emily's things for her?
Yeah, I have to make some room first, though. Hang on. And I pull the book out of my backpack and I set it on the table, and then just start scooping coins into the bag.
Nice. As you do this, you see the patron run out into the street, and he seems to be going about the business of seeing if anyone needs to send correspondence to Sarmanath.
Yeah, I think Tom will track him down as he's leaving and say, quick word of warning. We've got some business in Willard's Mill that we're taking care of for a few days, so you probably have a little bit of time.
Excellent.
Emily was probably just a little bit confused by the conversation.
My stepdaughter, Brea, she's from Willard's Mill. I have a gift for her. And he wanders, he stops, goes back into his shop, and hands you a little small gift wrap box. If you would have the bard deliver this to Brea in Willard's Mill on the morrow, that would be wonderful.
I don't know about tomorrow. We'll take care of that because it's a few hours away. But we have seeker business there tomorrow, and he shows the badge and says, "We'll take care of it afterwards." But there's some interesting things going on in Willard's Mill.
Apologies.
We have work to do.
Apologies, Seeker.
I'm gonna make so much money out of this.
Yeah, I just wanted to let you don't need to rush. We'll take care of some of that mail because we're heading to both places anyways. But you have a few days.
I thought you were from the colleges. I'm sorry to have interrupted and slowed Seeker business.
No, don't worry. Just you can take your time on collecting the mail. You don't need to get it all ready by tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir.
I was like, I didn't think we were gonna come back.
It's like on the way, right?
Doesn't mean we're coming.
It's practically on the way to go to this town, right?
Yeah,
Greg?
I mean, you could easily take a stop off the old road to come
It's
here.
like an hour out of town
Yeah.
or something like that. It's not a big deal.
It's not huge.
We tried marking it on the map.
Excellent. That's what I want my players to do. Let's take a look. We'll show it to stream. What did you guys do?
Yeah,
Did we do it right? That's the reason.
we're just like drawing stuff because we don't
Perfect.
know. We have no idea where we actually are right now.
Perfect. Yes.
Is your map to scale?
Fill in the black spaces. My map is to scale.
Beautiful.
Was that actually a good guesstimate? Because I was just like,
I think it's a little bit too far because he sits on like 3 or 4 miles.
Well, no, he said it was like 8 miles, and it was like 3 or 4 miles from where we already were when we were already a couple miles outside of town.
I thought we only went like a mile out of town.
You're 5 miles out of Willard's Mill.
Yeah, so it'd be like
okay.
It's close, but it'd be like right about
Yeah, I can switch
here.
down. Give me a second.
Alrighty. So as you bicker about the map and bed down in your nights, you begin to drift off to sleep. And all of you eventually make a very nice, restful sleep.
Does anyone actually look at the book, or do we just steal it and no one reads it?
I assume Janlar wanted it. Like that's the whole reason you went for it.
He's gonna catch more crazy.
You're muted, my friend.
Sorry. I detected magic on it and saw there were a bunch of different types of magic, but I also saw the beast outside, so I was a little afraid that if I started reading it again, the beast is gonna come here as well.
All right. Well,
right.
before Gormak goes to sleep, then if Janlar's not looking at the book, he's gonna like look at the book, look at Janlar, look at the book, pick up the book, hand it to Tom, and say, "See if this is useful." And then Gormak's gonna go to sleep.
All right. Yeah, no, I think Tom will flip it open and see if there's any sort of like religiously significant writings in this, or if it looks like pretty much just
Please
arcana.
give me,
Gormak then conspicuously takes a napkin and like wipes his hands off very carefully after he touches the book before
Please
he
give
goes
me
to
a
sleep.
religion intelligence check.
So that's +3. 7. No, I don't.
There's something old and ancient about the book. The runes are specifically in a manner that you don't recognize or understand. But the drawings in it give you the imagery of ritual magic and incantation, and not necessarily entirely arcane. There seems to be ritual magic in here that could draw very well upon some sort of religion, but what the nature of it and what it is eludes you on this night. As you look through it. The rest of you bed down for the night, and eventually, after a few hours, sleep soundlessly and dreamlessly. When you awake, the sun is fresh in your eyes, the smell of the oxen cart lays in front of you, and you notice that it is just past afternoon, and you are standing where you were as you first looked down upon Willard Mill.
Yeah, there we
And
go.
with
Oh my
that,
god.
We will go to our first break. We will see you guys back. Let's try to make this a little bit shorter break than we have been doing. We've been running a little long. Try to make it about 5 minutes for everybody, and we will see you soon. Peace.